Oh, that's terribly warm coffee. Well, I say terrible as if not warm coffee is much better, which it isn't. Anyway, with that little piece of trivia, that's not really trivia. I'm sorry. Hi. Hello to anyone watching this on the internet. You're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online of many different shapes, sizes, stripes. That's a way to describe role-playing games for sure, by their stripes. You can find them at gauntlet-rpg.com, or you'll find all the stuff they do: blogs, forums, a weekly. Oh, that'd be amazing if it's weekly, but no, sadly it's a monthly zine containing, it's called Codex. It contains supplements of existing games and original games in itself. There's also their podcast network and the Hangouts calendar through which this game was arranged. This game is our concluding session of our look through Hack the Planet by Fraser Simons, a Forged in the Dark cyberpunk climate fiction hack of Blades in the Dark by John Harper, where folks play cyberpunks, criminals, scoundrels in a city in the future, in a world being torn apart by climate change, just trying to survive. I'd say our crew has done quite well surviving, I guess. Might have taken a questionable job, might be reneging on that job soon. Who knows? We'll see. Someone's making a confused face because they weren't here last session, so I'll do a very quick recap of what happened before I get y'all to introduce yourself, because otherwise they wouldn't know where they stand. So last session, our crew, the Comets, our airship piloting daredevil thieves / extraction experts, completed their job from the previous score. They successfully extracted the scientist, brought her to the group who employed him from the score, which is it is Safety, the corporation that runs the security in the city. You'll notice in the factions tab that Safety now has a status of 2 with you. And Nourish has a status of 1 because you helped them out. You got them back their scientist, which was very nice. Also, you have a -1 now status with the split piece. I would say that was only because that clock of their alarm got filled, so they have an inkling of who was there anyway. But the crew talked it over, and well, before they handed it over, Irene gave them like her research and a fancy USB stick, and told them, "Look, I'll go along with you, but if you want to make it up, you need to get this research to the split piece leader, Theo, who's gone missing in an act of God. So good luck with that." So that's kind of the setup for today's session. So let's get to know our poor characters. We have to do that score now. Let's go left to right on the character keeper. So let's start with you, Alan. Tell us about yourself, pronouns, anything you want to plug, and then your character and the cool thing about them.
My name is Alan R. He, him. The only thing I have to plug is really, it's not a plug, it's a thank you. When I was going to get the character keeper for this game, I stumbled across my Gauntlet Con volunteer rewards, which is a fabulous thing I wasn't expecting. So I wanted to say thank you to anyone who contributed anything to the Gauntlet Con volunteer rewards, because it's a fabulous bundle. Thank you.
Cool. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you. Tell us about your character and the cool thing about them.
Yes, my character is Shadow. His alias is Shadow. He's a slightly weird man with a secret history and a very deep hood. And last time, I discovered what the rules meant when they described potency. He, in effect, has a pair of lightsabers with which he was cutting up people left, right, and center. So that's a lot cooler than I was expecting when I took that special ability.
Hell yeah! All right. From a From a fuse to a haunt. Josh, tell us about yourself, pronouns, anything you want to plug, and then your character and the very cool thing about them.
Yeah, of course. I'm Josh. I use he, him pronouns. I would also like to thank anyone who attended GauntletCon or donated to the GauntletCon bundle thing, because I also received that, which was also very pleasant to get. So I am playing Dasha Becker, who is the Haunt, better known as Nova, which is her street name, I guess, alias. She is a former corporate spy / gene hacker who has gone into black hat hacking. She is I would say, a pretty good hacker, very perfectionist, likes upscale fine dining. And in the downtime between this session and our last, she has gotten her hands on a custom drone, which is about the size of a smallish bird, I would say. And it is upgraded with the ability contact lens linked, which means that I have a set of special contact lenses which relay a camera feed of the drone, and when I put them in, I can see whatever the drone is currently seeing.
Fascinating. Let's hope we put that drone to good use today. And last but not the least, Rob, tell us about yourself, anything you want to plug, and then your character.
Rob. I use he, him pronouns. I'm trying to get back into streaming on Mixer as Trev Brotherhan. I think Leandro can put a link in the notes for that if anyone's interested. And I am playing Colleen Cohen, who goes by Mellow. If you're very close friends with her, she might let you get away with calling her Coco. And she is a refugee from Malville, Settlement 33. She was the daughter of basically the tech master, the keeper of the shack there. It was a sort of community that was inside a shopping mall in the middle of a snowpocalypse area. And they had to get evacuated because act of God made the situation untenable.
Yeah, that's a poor Mellow. I should have mentioned what happened to Mellow the session beforehand. There was an explosion that happened. Don't worry, you're still alive. A very nice person with a far more cybernetic limbs than they should have, kind of like saved you, partially to try and taunt the other crew, but your crew managed to save you, so you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. All right. So before we properly get started with gameplay and whatnot, let's talk about safety tools, what we're using to make sure we're playing in a safe and comfortable environment. I remind folks we have our lines and veils. They're on the character keeper, the L and V tab. Lines are things that won't be crossed, won't show up in the fiction at all. Out of the question. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not gonna concentrate on them. It happens off screen, or we'll fast forward over them, or a sentence is all we'll say. Also, we're using the X card for this session. Basically, if we do roll into a scene where folks feel uncomfortable for any reason, and any reason's fine, and no one has to explain what the reason is, and it could be any detail, like a name or something that's happening on screen. You can say you want to X card that either on the chat over there or on the video. You can make the symbol here, or on the roll for your party, which, yes, I've linked on the chat. There's a button there. I might ask some questions on what's being X-carded, but no one gets a question if the card is used. If the card is used, please respect that. We'll roll back and try something else. And finally, we have an open door policy here. If folks need to step away from the table for any reason, whether there's an emergency, you're more tired than you thought, someone in an inexplicable act of loving care for you has made you an egg sandwich and you really need to take care of that egg sandwich for reasons, any reason at all, that'll take you away from the table, that's perfectly fine. We'll pause the game and let you get on your merry way. All right, so before we get in this business of figuring out where Theo is, what the hell's happening, how to get the data to him because he's missing, a bit more bookkeeping. First off, I'll say this out right now, and then we'll solve this later. Because Mellow, you missed out on downtime. I'm gonna let you do your downtime activities now. Your 2-1s, because just feel bad that you didn't get to go through downtime. So I'll let you do those 2 now before we jump into the score. And second thing, y'all got a new ability for the Comets, so let's decide on that now before we get into like before we get into minutia. So have a look through those, or you can get 2 upgrades. You can get 1 special ability from the Comets list or 2 new upgrades.
And those upgrades are they just crew, or is there other upgrades?
They're crew.
They're crew upgrades.
Yeah, there's the generic crew upgrades, like the quality of your gear or another airship. I wouldn't suggest taking another airship. It's a bit much. Or there is the Comet specific upgrades there, which there. Or you can get an extra ability.
Given that we're in, this is the last of the series, and you know what they say about, we are going to encounter an act of God. I'm fairly confident if this guy has disappeared in it. What do we think about exosuits? Effective in low orbit jumps as well as combat. Only marking first use of armor counts towards your load on a score. Heavy armor is free. That one's on the table.
Yes. I would also like to propose, I think that's a good suggestion if we want to be, practical about this. But I would also suggest that seeing as how this is the last session, we could always take Tempting Fate and get off one last time.
That was the second one on my list, I have to say. When you execute a score by leaping from an aircraft, which appears to be our modus operandi.
What do you think, Rob? Where are you leaning towards?
Sorry, what were the options again? I was looking at downtime stuff.
Oh, sorry. People are looking over either exosuits or Tempting Fate as the ability to take from the Comets.
Yeah.
Let's say exosuits. I mean, I think that looks cool.
All right.
Cool. So I'm gonna do exosuits. All right. So I'm gonna ask you what the hell these exosuits look like later. Let me mark that. Bang. There we go. Devise your own kind of armor. All right. Okay. So there's some questions in that. But yeah, let's get to you, Mellow. So you were knocked out unconscious by that explosion that I think your friends still think you set off, but turns out it was your mysterious cybernetic attacker. But you've woken up. It's fine. Things have calmed down. They've given the job. Oh, let's see. Because there's 8 jewels, right? Okay, so 8 jewels. I think there's 2 in the... No, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I think... You know what? Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, we put the 2 jewels in your sheet. Okay, cool. So you have 2 jewels from that job. Because I think we got 8. Yes. So you have 2 jewels. You've woken up. We also said that Mellow woke up from and had enough time to like patch up Shadow because recovery is harsh and we need to make things as easy as possible. And the torque was there, but yeah. What do you want to do for your downtime?
I think probably train in combat. Or, not combat, but
prowess.
I think it's prowess, yeah. Which apparently fills me up again. So
Hell yeah. You are trapped in a desperate situation against a mysterious cybernetic attacker for a while.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, and also I pumped up everyone's XP. That's why you have 3 in all your attributes. Taking a page from Lowell that like takes a while to get XP in this game. So
Yeah, I didn't. I think Mellow didn't enjoy getting her ass kicked there, so I think she spent some time in whatever gym or whatever fight combat training facility they have in the airship.
I think that's probably me.
Ooh. 2 of you. So Shadow, you're like helping Mellow like get good.
I think I owe Mellow one.
Hell yeah.
For the recovery support.
Recovery support that Rob didn't know about. But yeah, you're teammates, it's fine. That makes sense.
I don't know if I took any harm last.
No, I think we convinced you to mark off your armor so that you don't take harm.
I remember that, yeah. I don't really need to relieve stress because I only have to.
Yeah, you don't want to overindulge, I guess.
Acquire asset. I could maybe work in building something, or some sort of something that might be helpful for the upcoming job, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think what we can do, if you don't have like a specific idea, is we can hold on to that downtime, and that'll be like a stress-free flashback you come back to. Say like, oh, okay, I grabbed this. So usually when you try to do a downtime activity as a flashback in the middle of like a score, that costs like a jewel, or did you have done that? But if you're gonna want to hold on to that right now and think about what to do later, you can say you can have one like free downtime flashback to be like, oh, I prepared for this. I knew that we were going into a specific thing. I was about to say what the specific thing is, but no, you have to discover that yourself. But yeah, do you want to do that?
That's fine. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so to set the scene again, you've all kind of like decided to. Well, I say all. Mellow was knocked out for that. Lincoln was there. We've decided to like. You've given Irene to safety, but y'all decide to like make up for that by taking the data she has, which is like data without which safety or Nourish would take quite a bit longer to recreate what she's done. They have her, but they don't have her data. So she wants you to bring the data to Theo, the leader of the Split Peace, who is missing. And apparently, the last time he was seen, it was walking into an act of God. Or heading off into an act of God. So there's that. I think. I should mention some stuff. Okay, I've already mentioned all the faction status changes. So your relationship with the Split Peace is now a -1. I'm not fans of their scientists being taken. You have a +2 with safety because y'all did a good job. And also +1 with Nourish, because y'all helped them with your good job. It's all good. It's good. It's good. And I think everything else, the Mirror is still a -1. Scrappers are still a -2. You didn't get entangled with them. Yes, okay, I think that's it. So I think I kind of want a quick snapshot of what each person's like demeanor or like thoughts as they kind of prepare to look into like this score. This is before we get into like gather information and stuff. But I want to like when we like open up the episode and like get a shot of like, ooh, what are they thinking? What are they doing? Who are they interacting with? Just like even if you want a scene with each other, that's fine as well. But like, what's like a quick shot to like just to tell folks what each character is thinking.
So I think Mellow. The last time Mellow encountered an act of God, she lost an ear. So we see her hammering away at some plate, basically beating some plates into shape, and these are, it looks like it's to be part of some sort of armor. So this is basically Mellow preparing the exosuits because they're gonna need them.
Just might. You just might.
I think that we see Shadow mulling all this over, because I think Shadow is the most morally ambiguous of the crew. And he's wondering how Lincoln managed to convince him that we should be going, doing what the woman we exfiltrated wants us to do. The job was to get her out, not to do her a favor. So I think Shadow is kind of pensive.
Yeah, Lincoln's not here to justify himself.
Yeah. So I think we're in this like gritty, dark shot of the inside of our ship as Shadow and Mellow go about this, and the camera. There's a cut as it goes over to Dasha, who is currently dressed in like a ball gown alone at a table at a restaurant. It seems there's a lot of people around her eating in these like wild cyberpunk formal wear. A waiter comes over carrying just like several plates, each with just like a little tiny amount of food on it. And he says something, and he uses a name that is not her name when he hands it to her, and she nods silently and very pensively begins eating, as she thinks about how this might be her last chance to enjoy the fine dining that shelter has to offer.
So pessimistic, gosh. Okay, it's a good shot. So now I want to know what each person's going to do to prepare for the score. I mean, this is the part where we gather information, try to figure out what even the target is. You all have just like scant hints from what Irene said. This is a chance to like look through, ask your contacts, look through, I don't know, public infrastructure records or whatnot, or do some surveying, look through like acts of God that's happening. So yeah, tell me what each character is doing to investigate.
I think I want to go on a chat with Catalina the Dipper, my friend Catalina, because the obvious skill to use here is trace, which is working out where this guy was seen, what do we know about him and his habits, all that kind of stuff. And it occurs to me that as Catalina is endlessly dipping into corporate data streams and just plucking bits of information out so she can sell them on, that maybe Catalina has something to offer in the way of strengthening my capacity to trace something about, I've forgotten his name already, sorry.
Theo. Cool. I want to see this Catalina. Where do you go meet her? And tell me more about her.
Yeah, okay. I think Catalina used to work in safety, and there's this slight hint that maybe Shadow also has a history in law enforcement, inverted commas. So I think that perhaps they were part of the same find and recover kind of unit operating within safety before something happened that meant the unit came apart and went its separate ways. So I think we go back a long way. I imagine her as a woman older than me, because she wasn't at the sharp end in some of those extractions. She was the kind of she was almost the role currently fulfilled for the team by Dasha. She was the hacker. You know, she was the woman in the van, prepping for these missions. And so I see her as older than Shadow. Steely grey hair, short, tight curls. I think she's probably mostly Asian in her ethnicity, and she currently works behind a front that is a kind of you know, a cheap knockoff hardware store of some description, where people go to buy, you know, everything from data sticks to bits of tech. Most of it probably slightly out of date, and most of it conceivably of disreputable origin, low down in the tiers of Shelter One. And I don't seek her out often, so she knows that when I do, I'm here for something serious. Is that good enough for now?
Yeah, I think when you do like show up at the hardware, at the cheap hardware store, I think coincidentally it's it's coincident enough, it's quite empty there. Although you probably get the feeling that she knew you were coming. She always knows when you're coming, so she had the place kind of cleared out. In the moment that you walk in, you can hear like the electronic door locks behind you, and the windows just kind of it looks like you can still see outside, but you can tell that like the light has gone dimmer and the windows have gotten tinted. And she looks at you, and I want to add a little detail to your description. She's wearing what looks like, you know, Google Glass kind of sunglasses. Well, not sunglasses, but like Google Glass, like sort of glasses, like a bit of heads up display you can barely see there. And she says, you know, it wouldn't kill you to make at least one social call.
That's not the kind of relationship we have, Kat. You know that. I know that. We've never had that kind of relationship. We don't have friends.
Well, the longer, I don't know, I can't speak for you, Shadow, but the longer we've spent away from what we used to do, one tends to find that relationships change. But if you're still not there, then that's fine. That's fine.
And maybe we just get a shot under the shadow of the hood of an eyebrow going up, as if to say, do they?
I think she smiles and says, like, oh, don't be surprised, Shadow. People try to get out of the life, and they tend to go a bit soft.
Again, this is does not compute. And so Shadow will swiftly move away from this very uncomfortable conversation to business. Yeah, sure, Kat. I just wondered if you could help me find somebody or find out some stuff about somebody.
I think she'll notice. I mean, she knows you're uncomfortable. I think she's deliberately doing this, and she'll just laugh and just say, like, "Oh, I guess if you don't go straight to business, you're not really you, Shadow. All right, okay. What are you looking for?"
I'm looking for Theo. He headed up the Split Peas until he went missing. I just want to know if there's any chatter on the lines.
Okay. I think I'm gonna ask you to make the roll for this. This is gonna be a fortune roll. I don't think there's any risk, because you're talking to Catalina, who is quite good at what she does, as a dipper, for sure. And I think with the info you're gonna give, is you say more about, you know, Theo, whatnot. As much info as Shadow would give about who he's looking for. Yeah, this is gonna be Trace. It sounds like.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So am I rolling 2 dice for my 2 trace?
Yes.
And does involving Cat in this get me a 3rd one?
I think You know, it's our last session, and I've been accused over the weekend of being incredibly nice to my players. I'm not gonna wave away that accusation. Sure, roll that third die. This is a fortune roll, so like nothing bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, there's a pair of 4s, so 4 is my best outcome.
All right, so you get good info, for sure. I think here's what she kind of tells you. So Theo went missing quite recently-ish. Well, about 2 weeks ago. And the scuttlebutt is, well, no, not just a scuttlebutt, but here's the weird part. Like, he went missing along with a bunch of other kind of semi-prominent figures in the criminal underground. Like, not just the split peas, but like the whoever's heading up the scrappers has apparently went missing as well. People in, sorry, I'm just looking through like your rivals to see who else might have went missing. I think Kat brings up like your rival Avni, that they've gone missing as well.
We're going to chuckle out of Shadow.
But I think Kat gives you a frown and says like, well, info says that they all went missing around the same place, and if you're headed towards this place, well, I don't know who you'll meet there. And I think because it's good info, she'll tell you like this meeting is again was out in the Badlands. She'll give you the location of, like, she doesn't know what the meeting was about or what this, like, why all these people went missing around the same time, but she can tell you that like most of them, if not all of them, were headed towards the same place. It's this like
let me just clarify that then with her. Mm-hmm. So there was a meeting in the Badlands, but not all of the people who've gone missing went missing at the meeting or on the way to the meeting.
No, it's quite scattershot from what I've gotten. There's, I mean, definitely your missing Theo went there for sure, along with Avni and a bunch of other folks. Whatever was being sold, whatever this meeting was about, apparently it was something quite important, as they were willing to risk going into an active act of God. And it's quite active still there. I don't know. I don't know if you're considering going to this place. Hold on, let me get the name. Settlement 33, I think, is what it's called. Prime real estate, since it's refugees. Well, people living there abandoned it quite some time ago.
Okay.
So,
just one last question.
Mm-hmm.
The nature of the act of God, I'm not clear setting-wise whether act of gods are all the same or whether there are particular kinds that require particular preparations.
There are definitely varieties. Like, I'm looking at this table right now. There are varieties from like sinkholes to thunderstorms to scorching winds, even droughts or flooding or solar flares. But I think for this specific act of God, you're gonna have to ask your teammate what's happening over there.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. All right. So I think the last thing Catalina to ask is just like, I think she'll be brazen enough to ask like who you're doing this for, like this job.
That's a very difficult question, Kat.
Why is it anyone
not entirely certain? That's
really
what worries me about this. I've got a friend who would say we were doing it for, what was the phrase he used? The common good.
It's her turn to raise an eyebrow.
Yeah, exactly.
The common good, huh? Well, when you get back from this job, why don't you drop by and tell me exactly how that feels? I'm very interested to know how you think it feels. You
I,
muted.
I think it right now, Kat, it's just feeling confusing.
Yeah, I think we can cut the scene there. Cool. All right. What's everyone else doing to prepare? So I think obviously anything that's learned will just be passed along with the group for sure. So you'll know that there is a meeting. There was like some sort of meeting. A lot of folks are invited. It's to this place called Settlement 33.
So, hearing that it's going to be a Settlement 33, I probably either have or know where to find a copy of the old plans for the settlement, the old schematics that we had.
Cool. How are you? Where? So I say you know where it is, but where is it? Tell me where is it? Like where does Mellow find this?
So she was the assistant. You know, she not the assistant, but she was the daughter of the keeper of the shack. So it would probably be her adopted father.
Yeah. I think this is gonna be another fortune roll. I think it'll determine the quality of the schematics that you'll get from your dad. Do they have a name?
Just went by Cohen.
Okay. Cohen. All right, cool. So where is he staying? In Shelter 1?
Probably I don't know what the lore is, but I assume that because they're part of a refugee group, they were put up in like low rent housing or maybe even like a slum area. So he has another shack nowadays that he stays in.
He's got a chain of them going in. Yeah. So I think probably when you visit him, I'm imagining he's sitting in a squashy armchair. Actually, you can tell me more about him because I've asked Alan about their friend. Tell me more about your dad.
So he generally wears utility clothes, sort of overalls, and shirt with a sort of tactical type shirt with lots of pockets. Used to be salt and pepper here, but he's now gone completely grey. And he's just got a sort of bulldogish face. And he's probably sitting tinkering with something.
I think the first thing he says when he sees you is he stands up and he looks furious and he says, "Coco, where the hell have you been?"
Been working.
Working hard, I hope.
Of course.
That's my.
Who do you think you're talking to?
That's my girl, and she smiles and pulls you into a big bear hug and probably swings you around. Right. Well, I hope you're doing well with your work. Care to give me any highlights?
Well, we're getting somebody. We're working extra. I assume he probably knows what I do for a living. So yeah. we had to extract somebody from. I tell him a bit about the place where we were. I can't like.
Yeah, I think while you're telling the story, he's giving out he's gasping at the appropriate moments. He's and when you probably mentioned the asshole who beat you up, he makes like a fist. He's He's not happy about that, and I think he says like, well, you best prepare for that one. They sound like a dangerous fella, but I'm sure you've got it. You got it under control. You'll get him next time you see him.
Oh yeah, I won't let him get the drop on me again. So I have a favor to ask.
Sure, anything for you, Coco. Well, basically, as far as I'm concerned, anything I have is yours.
Yeah. So the job that we've we've taken on now, apparently we're going to Settlement 33. So I was wondering if you still had the old plans for the place.
I think his face kind of not drops, but like gets a bit more pensive when you say Settlement 33. And he gets up from his squashy armchair, pokes around the shack. You hear like electronic safe lock kind of being opened. And I think here's where we roll to see how good those plans are. What action should we roll? It might be a survey.
Yeah, survey or study maybe.
Cool. Oh yeah, survey or study. Either way, it'll get you one die. I mean, if you want a ripple or you want to push yourself to get another, I'll let you. But
I will just roll one die.
Okay.
And get a 2.
Oh no. I think he looks okay. No, okay. Here's what he does. He pulls out like these old plans and he lays it out for you on the table. And you can tell they're quite detailed. They're quite like much more detailed than you expected. And I think he distracts you for a moment by telling you stories of, oh, here's why we named it Mallville. Here's where Uncle Zebediah and Aunt Zechariah had their fights over their names or something really stupid like that. Here's where they used to make gravy, or they figured out how to make gravy out of the weather, stuff like that. So he's telling you stories. But I think at some point he runs out of stories and he kind of sheepishly admits that, like, I mean, this is what the place used to look like. Don't know if it's much the same as it now ever since we left. I mean, stop. He nearly says shit, but he stops himself. Old habits. Stuff got bad. I mean, that's why we're here. And for a long time, I've been trying to lobby for folks to go back, get back their old things, get back some memories and whatnot. But there were roadblocks. Turns out some folks dug up some old property records, and now Mallville is owned by something else, by other folk. I have to know, Coco, how important is this job to you and your friends? Because you're gonna have to going up against the Sentinels. You know that? Sorry, Rob is Rob frozen for me? For you? Oh, there he goes.
Oh.
Oh no, Rob's continuing problems with StreamYard. It's been happening for a while. Hold on, let me fix this. There we go. Okay, that looks less weird. Now we don't look like statues. Yeah. All right. Okay.
I always think hear no evil, see no evil.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, so while we wait for Rob to get back, we'll leave that story on that cliffhanger. I don't even know if he heard the bit where his home was bought out by the long arm of the law. All right. Let's cut to Nova, to Dasha. I want to know what you're doing to prepare for this.
Okay, so I think that what I'm going to do to prepare for this is, so I am in my fine dining establishment, and as I'm there, I think I want to really, so I'm looking around, and I think that we can probably say that almost everyone in this place is corporate, to some extent. And I'm looking around, and Nova, as she is, getting through her aperitifs, her just like a tiny little stream of nanites flies off of her, low to the ground, and they start searching for smart paper and devices that they can manipulate that are owned and held by the corporate executives that are eating around her. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find someone from, what are they called? They are called information. And I'm going to try and hack their phone and see if they have any potential information about, maybe recent weather patterns, where the act of God hit exactly. See if I could find that out.
Interesting. All right. Well, the thing is, since you're doing this in such a risky environment, this has to be an action roll with consequences.
Of course.
So, I think this is a risky standard, for sure. You've got 3 dice. All right, hold on. Just Rob back. Hey, Rob. StreamYard fighting you as always.
Yep.
All right. We'll come back to your conversation with Yada. He's not a dad, he's a da, for sure. Right now, Nova is doing some hardcore hacking, which sounds like a Discovery Channel show. So yeah, risky standard. You've got 3 dice. Could go well. Could go well.
Yeah, let's see. See how it goes.
Let's see how it goes. Sure, don't
That
push
is
yourself.
5 highest.
All right, cool. So on a 4 to 5, let me double check. Okay, cool. On a standard effect, I mean, yeah, you're still gonna do it. Sorry, I just need to double check something. There we go. You're gonna do it, but there's a consequence: suffer harm, complication, reduce the effect, or end up in a desperate position. Okay, here's kind of what happens. So you're trying to find someone's phone or device from information in your fancy ass restaurant. Okay. And you're looking for like acts of God, and what's been happening in settlement 33. I think what you'll find is that probably Mellow's told you about what happened at the settlement, but I think what info you'll find is that it's a bit different now from what happened to her settlement. I want to ask Mellow this. What was like the event that forced y'all to leave?
I think it was let's say a sort of snowstorm, like really, I'm thinking of acts of God in terms of like the sort of weather you get in Gears of War, where it's like you get like gigantic hailstones and whirlwinds made of fire sort of thing. So in this case, it would be like whirlwinds with sort of ice particles, that are sharp and deadly.
Okay, I think actually we'll stick to that because that sounds cool. That's a cool thing. I had an idea to make it scorching winds, but I don't feel warm. I feel really cold right now where I am. So we'll stick to what you said because that sounds cool. Here's what you find out, Nova. That specific blizzard, full of hideous hailstorms and ice particles and icicles just floating about, it's stuck around in that area to a remarkably consistent degree. It's weird how, and I think the info you get the info you get is from information. It's just like they're tracking this act of God, and it's stuck around there for a while. In fact, compared to other acts of God, which is wild and chaotic, this one, the ice razor, that's very cool. Mellow, the ice razor, it almost looks like it's being forced to stay there. That like it's being directed or shaped, like someone's figured out how to put it in its place, and it's I think what the complication is going to be like a reduced effect. I think that's the extent of what you'll get, is that like this act of God, which you get like, you know, the parameters of it, like, oh, it's a blizzard type. That makes them sound like Pokemon. It's a blizzard type. It's an ice type. That's been there for a while. Because you got a 5, I think I'll let you have one follow-up question if you want. But I think you won't get as much because the complication is going to be a reduced effect.
Okay. Follow-up question. I would like to know what would I like to know? I'd like to know if anywhere in what was previously Shelter 33 is still like showing up as having signs of activity in it.
Ooh. Anywhere in Settlement 33. Let me think about that. Okay, I'll ask Metal Disc because this is their settlement. What was like the place in Settlement 33 that was kind of like, I guess, the meeting place, where folks like communally gathered?
I think it would be the atrium, like sort of like there's maybe like there's some sort of water feature that used to be there, like because it was a shopping mall, so there's like some sort of really modern art type water fountain feature in a sort of central area that we met around.
Nice. Okay, I think you see there's I'll give you this because this is neat. You see a file, an image file attached to like a report to the stuff you're looking into, Nova, and you see like the incident report is spotted signs of activity inside the ice razor, and it's quite a blurry shot of someone in the atrium kind of like poking their head out in the blizzard, and it's I think you can tell, like, because you saw them kind of up close, that this person, they're poking their head out, they're quite hooded, and there's shadows in their hood when there shouldn't be, because it's quite a bright photograph, because there's daylight inside the blizzard, but they have like weird shadows covering their face. And I think I think the file just says like, unidentified criminal spotted in the ice razor.
Okay.
But I think you'd recognize who this person is. Well, you met them. You tried to throw a grenade at them.
Okay. Yes, in that case, I do recognize who this person is. And yeah, so I think Nova sees that. And she's still just sort of sitting nonchalantly in this restaurant. And as she sees that, the waiter comes out with the entree, which is it is one very small dish with a single just cut of meat on it, and that is like the showstopper in this world that is pre-post scarcity.
I'm so upset. All right, I think what we'll do is I'll finish off the conversation that Mellow was having with her dad, and then we're gonna take a break, and then I'll ask you if you need to gather more info, or we just leap into the score. So how much? Where did the StreamYard fail you, Mellow, in that conversation? What's the last thing you heard?
The last thing I heard was he was talking about there. You've been trying to get people get permission for people to go back.
Yeah, and what he said is basically that like the land's been bought up, apparently, according to those in charge. That specifically, and he had to do a bit of like digging around to find out that like it's been bought up by the law enforcement arm of the corporate council, the Sentinels. Bought up this place, and they're saying that we bought up this place for security reasons, and part of what he's been doing is trying to like fight back at that and figure out why the hell have they done that.
Well, I'll get some fucking answers when I'm there.
I think you say that, and he smiles, and again, it's another like at a girl sort of thing. Oh, he gives you a fist punch to your shoulder. And he knows you can take it. Cool. Okay. Yeah, we've been here for an hour, so let's take a break. Let's take a good 10, and then we'll come back and see what the plan is and engagement roll, and drop into the ice razor. Yay! Or what are you gonna do about the ice razor? I don't know. We'll see. We'll come back in 10. Let's come back at 45 past the hour. See you then.
So, Leandro, what were you saying at the very beginning about a new Forged in the Dark game that you heard about?
Oh, I think. Well, I'm trying to keep my eye out for like other Fortune Dark stuff. I remember there was one. I think it was played on Gauntlet Con last year, but I remember someone in the Slack mentioning it. It's like it's a Cold War, U.S. versus Russian spy fiction Fortune Dark. I think someone mentioned it when Bethany was looking for RPG recommends. I think it's called 5 to Midnight.
The name rings a bell.
Yeah, I think it was on Gauntlet Con last year. I know someone who knows the designer in the Slack. I think I'll message them, see what it looks like. Because I'm still in a run a lot of Fortune Dark stuff kick. God knows why. Like I'm like Scum and Villainy on Friday. I was gonna do Blades in the Dark on Saturday, but something came up. I'm still gonna do that this month. Next month is Band of Blades. Lord have mercy. It's gonna be something. And then I don't know what's up for January yet. Probably Beam Saber because I really like giant robots. Although I did run that poll. It will be Tides of Gold, either Tides of Gold or Beam Saber, and then more stuff. I found more Forge in the Dark games. God, it's just
well, a lot of. I backed a Kickstarter for one called Adrenaline, which is kind of cross the hustle with Fast and Furious.
Ooh, yeah, I think I've heard of that.
Because I was thinking of using that for my next go at Knights Black Agents.
Interesting.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, there's a page on Itch with like a lot of Fortune Dark stuff. I just see it's up for like 15 quid. I might take a look at that actually. There is a lot of these. Oh Jesus, there's way more than I expected. Oh crap. Well, that's me sorted for next couple months. I'm running shit.
Yeah. I backed Wicked Ones on Kickstarter when that was running. Which is yeah. I mean, I haven't really seen much come out for it yet, but hopefully that'll turn out good in the end.
Oh yeah, I see it. Wicked Ones.
It's like a what's that called? The one where you're like building out your dungeon, War for the
Dungeon Keeper. Is it?
No. I don't know.
Yeah, a long time ago, I think, Dungeon Keeper. That takes me back a bit, I think.
All right. Anyway, that's a lot of Fortune games. And there's way more that's not on that. Not way more, but like still a bit more. All right. So I want to know if folks are ready to do this or did they need more information?
I think I've done all the gathering that I can.
Likewise.
Yep.
All right. Let me just find the page for the engagement rule. Someday I will internalize what you need to do for engagement at every single Fortune Dark game, but that day has yet to come. Here we go. All right. So first thing you're going to do is choose the plan and provide the detail. So I'll run through the options for plans again. There's assault, do violence to a target. Your detail is going to be the point of attack. There's deception, lure, trick, or manipulate. The detail is the method of deception. There's stealth, which is trespass unseen. The detail would be the point of infiltration. There's act of God, which is engage a natural phenomena. The detail will be like the tech you're going to use, the specialized tech that's used. There's social, which is negotiate, bargain, or persuade with the target. The detail will be the connection, the social connection. And then there's transport, which is carry cargo or people. True danger, the detail will be the route and the means.
Well, it seems like this is an act of God.
Ooh. Yes. I do want to know, like, what and we can say you can just say whatever. But like, what specialized tech do you think y'all would try to use?
I'm a bit confused about how an act of God can be the basis of a plan.
Say
Barrier to one.
Oh, sorry. Say that again. Sorry, I missed that last sentence.
I can see how an act of God is a barrier, a complication to a plan, but I'm struggling to see how an act of God can be a plan.
There are times when, like, say you can use an act of God as cover to like do your own plan. Like, say, oh no, this building is gonna be trapped in like a hellacious rainstorm, and you know their defenses are gonna be a bit more confused and whatnot. Perfect time to come in and ruin stuff while that's happening. So that's how we would use it as a plan.
And mechanically, would we then be relying on Mellow's modify skill to make that work really well? Or is the engagement roll just...
The engagement roll is going to determine how far into the score we're going to be, like how you get through the first obstacle. It's mostly like narrative positioning, basically. So just because we're not going to fill out the exact plan of how you do it, I just need to know like what is the detail, what is like the plan and the detail, and that'll help me like spell out what happens depending on the engagement roll.
So act of God as cover, or what are we? How are we narratively using the act of God to make this a plan then?
Do we actually know of any opposition that we're up against at this point, or right?
You know, there's a mystery. You know, your cyber buddy could be involved, and you know the Sentinels bought up that place. I think what you know is that, like, that act of God, something's happening inside the Ice Razor where you used to live. That's where Theo is. So maybe the plan isn't like the act of God, because that means you have to fight the thing. Maybe it's just getting through it, and this could be like another like infiltration or.
I mean, infiltration strikes me. You know, we're not going to fight our way in, are we? We're not built for that. The only deception method I can think of is that we use Mellow as a wooden horse, but that would only work if any of your people were still there, would it?
No, nobody's still there. As far as I know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and social. If Lincoln was here, maybe he could talk his way in, but I'm not sure that the rest of us have got 3 decent con jobs between us.
Yeah, I would say if Lincoln was here, this job would be like completely different.
Yeah.
We'll play to his strengths.
Well,
he's not here.
So do we know what is the elevation of this blizzard is my question. Because we are in an airship, presumably. And if our airship is capable of flying above the precipitation line, then it seems to me as though we could just fly right over the whole area, and then they probably wouldn't be able to see us until we were on our way down.
I think because it's a nice picture, I think you can see how tall the blizzard is from afar. It's like actually, no, again, back to Mellow, because this is your place. This is your blizzard. How tall is it?
It looks like a super tornado. So
you had a chance to make it easier for yourselves, and you didn't.
No. There's a reason we ran from this thing.
That's true. All right. Well, you can say you
a problem. I mean, if it's 20,000 feet, say, then you know one of the advances we can get is implies high altitude. I don't think altitude's a problem for the airship.
Yeah, the airship can do fine getting through altitude wise,
because our exosuits can do low orbit.
Ooh.
So take it up, Lincoln keeps it on a holding station, we jump out the airplane.
Oh, poor Lincoln. Oh, always the driver. Well, it's kind of his fault. Y'all are doing this anyway. He's got a soft heart. He's got a nice. No, soft heart is not a bad thing to have. It's just, now you're jumping into a blizzard because of him and Irene. That sounds like kind of a stealth. The details a point of infiltration, which is true to Blizzard.
With the perfect plan, having us arrive in the still center, not in the whirligig, that is a tornado.
Yeah.
A freezing a tornado called the Ice Razor.
Indeed. Just as well we opted for exosuits.
All right. Cool. That sounds like a good plan. Next, you choose your loadout. Load indicates how much stuff they're carrying on the score. Yeah, so what loadouts are y'all picking?
I'm going to start with normal as last time, and I'll dump stuff if I have to.
Cool. What about Nova or Mellow?
Normal.
Normal.
All right. Y'all ready for some action? Okay. All right. Now we do the engagement roll. So let's start building the fortune roll. First you start with 1 dice for sheer luck. Then the questions. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? I can't see any reason why. Yeah.
We're leaping from an airplane into a super tornado.
Into the Ice Razor.
Into the Ice Razor. Into something a bit unknown. Fair enough. Take 1 die. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? Absolutely not.
Very simple. Airplane, tornado, jump.
Cool. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I'm going to say yes, because I don't think many folks expected people to be silly enough to jump, to fly over the thing and jump out into the blizzard. So I'll give you that 1 die. And because I gave you 1 die, the next question, is the target strongest against this approach? That's not going to apply. So you still have 3 dice. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? I'm going to say because Mellow has been here. And their dad. Yeah, they don't have a dad. They have a da. I'll give you another die. Dad die. Dad die. Oh, so that's 4. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in the operation? I've mentioned. Oh, go ahead.
Well, we know the cyber boss is on, there or thereabouts, don't we?
Yes.
So why not an interference in the active sense?
You know, there is like an enemy.
Yes.
There, for sure. All right, cool. So I'm gonna take away a die then. Let's see. I think we're good for 3. I don't want to go through the other questions. 3's a good pool for an engagement roll, right?
Yeah.
Right? Who wants to roll? Oh, actually, let me ask: would you call this operation an extraction?
Yes.
If we're getting Theo, then yeah.
Cool. All right, so I'll give you an extra die for that because you're doing your favored operation. So that's 4. Who wants to roll?
I think I did it last time. I'm not doing it this time.
Rob, would you like to?
Sure. How many dice was it again?
4.
4.
As he approaches the green grass of home.
I'm gonna delete the
Probably
one
not that
that's
green
over
anymore.
there.
It's not really that green.
It was never
Not
green.
after the Ice Razor.
Ooh. That's pretty good.
Winner.
That is a winner. They rolled a 6. You can't crit on an engagement roll, sadly enough, even though there's 2 6. I know it's still. You're gonna. No, it's a controlled position. It's really good. All right, it's quite good. All right. So I think yeah, I want to get another snapshot of what each people's thoughts are or demeanor as the airship approaches the ice razor, and you can see like on your screens. I think you can hear the howling wind outside your airship, and a bit of turbulence that's getting stronger and stronger as you come close to this super tornado of a blizzard. I want to know what each person's thinking.
Mellow's just glaring out the window at the tornado. Like this is the monster that destroyed her home.
So Dasha is also from an out of shelter community, but her community is still active, like nestled away in this like sort of desert oasis type place, I think. So she is not used to the cold as much. And as we approach the ice razor more and more, I think she has some like thermoplastic that she's putting on underneath her outfit and everything, just bracing.
Nice.
Shadow, I think, is eager. He's eager to jump because maybe this time it'll all go horribly wrong and he'll finally pay the price he knows he ought to pay.
Well, unfortunately for Shadow, y'all rolled a 6. So, unfortunately.
Yeah, easy to take that view after the dice have been rolled.
That's true. That's true. I should have asked for you to meet us before this engagement roll. Oh well. In that case, yeah, I think unfortunately for Shadow, it's textbook. You're all like positioned above enough the blizzard where it's not as. And here's where I'm going to reveal my ignorance of weather. You're quite far above enough where you're not as buffeted by the winds, and I think you can see kind of like this funnel shape. It's again, and I think Nova would notice this, and assuming you shared what you found out from information, that like this blizzard is almost like being shaped. It's like it's being coordinated. So like you can even see far below, you can see the settlement, like the remains of this mall. And here's the thing as well, you see lights. There are lights down there. And I think you said let me ask, where are you aiming for? Are you aiming for the atrium, or is there any specific place that Mellow would say that you should aim for? Again, sorry, Mellow, I'm turning a lot to you, but this is your home.
Anywhere but at the frickin' no, she wouldn't say the fucking tornado.
All right, spend some time with her adopted dad, just picking up the self-centering bit. Okay, cool. Well, the nice thing with a controlled position is I can't scatter you because you're going to be in a controlled position. So I think you jump out. It's exhilarating to an almost terrifying degree because.
Can I suggest that Shadow is surfing the inside of the tornado?
For fuck's. Yeah. I think thanks to your exosuits, your planning, Mellow's knowledge of this tornado, I think the jump goes well. You are gonna get, and I think as you get close to the settlement, you can see there are lights, kind of like there are lights on in this building. And I'm gonna ask again, Mellow. When you say like it's an abandoned mall, like how big is this mall?
like it's it's one of the bigger malls, like American style malls.
Ooh. All right. So I think you see that, like, oh, here's the things that have changed. Your mall is run down, obviously, and like when you last left it, Mellow, it was like, your community has done enough to patch it up, but with constant blizzards and whatnot have torn it apart. You can see that parts of the mall have been rebuilt as you're kind of headed towards it. You see that some place where there was a hole has now been patched up with like steel walls. You'll see that there are certain buildings. There are something that car park was like full of trash and in broken cars, but it's been cleared out, and you'll see that there's like a couple of like heavy duty snow track Humvees that have like ways to get through snow are parked there. Also, there's a quite ugly guard tower right in the middle of the mall, and there are spotlights coming out from the guard tower. Those are the two things. Those are one of two things to notice. The guard tower is there's two towers. There's the guard tower that's kind of like in the middle, and you'll see there's a smaller like squat sort of building to like the far left corner. And you're all seeing this as you're kind of zooming in, and you'll see that like I think this building to the far left is like it's like a small sort of 3-story sort of tower, but you can see there's like a lot of like satellite dishes and control rods and lightning rods poking out from the roof. It's like a lot of needles poking out at once, and the closer you get to it, you can feel this humming coming through it.
Just before we land, then, because we're in comms, aren't we? I think that Mellow, just from what you can see, what's changed, so we know what the new builds are. Nova, what do you make of that squat tower?
I assume you're shouting this out loud as the wind's whipping to your face.
I'm assuming we got masks and comms. So
yeah. Do I make anything of the watchtower? I should ask.
You could do a roll to see what you can make out of it.
Okay. How far away is the watchtower from us right now? What do you say? As we are falling.
I'd say, because you're in a control position, I'd say you can. The three of you could like angle yourself to get close, for sure. Because
that's what I wanted to know is where should we? Because my immediate suspicion is that's controlling the weather, and I can't help feeling if we could get control of controlling the weather, we could do. We might have a really powerful card in our hand.
Yeah, I think it'll be close enough. I think Nova, where you can get a good sense of like what the electronics are, or the machinery are. Like you get good deep. Well, we'll see. Depending on the action roll.
Okay. Well, actually, here's my suggestion: is that if there is a single watchtower, right? If you have this watchtower that is probably going to be the focal point for this. We're probably going to have to get in there at some point, but as we are currently skydiving down, we could always aim for the watchtower. If we aim for the watchtower as we're skydiving down, land on or in it, take out whoever is inside. Now we have a good central, elevated, strategic location to base the rest of our extraction from.
Mm-hmm. All right. That sounds cool. I think everyone's in agreement with that. This is going to be part of the engagement role. So I think, you're going to land on the watchtower, and imagining it is like a proper like prison guard sort of watchtower, except maybe the actually no, it's more like an air traffic controller sort of watchtower with like spotlights on, and I think the three of you can like land. I'm assuming you got parachutes or you got wingsuits, or I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Tell me, do you have parachutes, or like it's more like a wingsuit situation?
We used wingsuits last time.
Yeah,
Sure, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe some air brakes.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I mean, maybe Mellow built more of those rocket boots that she had. But they are only used for like controlling your descent. Okay, cool.
I'm guessing that the wind noise here is going to be quite high, even in the still center. So we've got some cover, in as much as landing through this blurring snow. So put us on top of that control tower.
Okay. I'll give you a choice. Do you want to be directly on top, or you can land on like the gangways where the spotlight is kind of like outside the room where I think what you'll see is like the top of the air traffic controller tower is like this. It's like this cylindrical sort of room with like windows looking out, but you can't see because it's wind and sort of blasted snow. Do you want to land directly on top, or like on like the gang?
Access that that walkway from the top. I want to be on top.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, there is absolutely like a skylight on the top roof, and you can look inside, and what you see is like surrounding the cylindrical room is like there's like a lot of like TV monitors, I think, and it's a weird higgledy-piggledy bunch of TV monitors. Some of them are like flat screens. Some of them are old CRT monitors. It's like, yeah, those are really old. And there's some are like this. Some are just basically a bunch of like tablets lashed together. It's a weird. It's like this is clearly a surveillance room, but like it's a lot of like different kinds of tech put together. You can see there's like a manhole cover. There's like a manhole covering in the middle, and that's where probably like, the ladder down to the tower. The tower is. What you can see is there's only one person in there, and they're sitting in like an office chair that you can spin around. I think you can see from like the glow of all the television monitors is that they're kind of like staring at a specific screen, and you can see like they're wearing this weird metal helmet.
What I really want to do is to go down to the walkway and knock on the door.
Okay. You can do that, and there's a pause, and
rap again.
You can hear someone go, "Hello." I'm sorry. You're gonna have to wait your turn for the blackjack. I'm still quite busy here.
Rap.
People can't just wait their turn, can't they? Huh? Can't they? And you open the door, and you'll see like this quite honest. I think they're probably.
I don't want to look at him. I want to pull him over the barrier throw him into the air.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. You're not even gonna look at it. All right. Fair. All right. This is an action roll. What are you rolling with? Oh, say that again. Yes, because this is you're ambushing them.
Surprised? You were surprised?
I was very surprised. Yes. All right. So this is controlled standard. So it'll be very good. You got 3 dice with ghost, and you get your ambush die.
So I'll re-roll the lowest one, so I don't have large numbers out. Okay, that's a 4, 2, and a 1. I'll re-roll the 1. 2, so 4.
No, 4 is pretty good. See, on a 4 controlled. Okay. So this. All right. So here's kind of what happens. Here's what will happen. Because it says here on a 4 to 5 and controlled. There's a hesitation. You can withdraw or try a different approach, or else do it with a minor consequence.
Oh, so I pull him.
Yes.
But he doesn't fly over into space. But instead, I chop him in half.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's the complication then. You actually are you probably gonna chop him in half?
Well, sorry, I thought I could withdraw and try a different approach.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll roll with you chopping him in half. Yeah.
Combat, 2 dice.
Yes. Yeah. I think. Yeah. He is kind of like fighting back a bit, but yeah. Roll combat. I think since you're trying a different approach, yeah, this is controlled. Still controlled.
4.
Oh my gosh! All right. Ugh. Okay. He's in bits in more ways than one. The other 2, you'll see this.
Don't know if I've mentioned, but you're a fucking terrifying, Shadow.
That's kind of yeah.
Here's what you notice that I don't know what you noticed because you're quite gung ho with chopping them up. They're wearing so they were wearing a big parka and just what looked like work clothes and whatnot. You notice the helmet though. It's steel. It's quite heavy. It covers up the face. It's like shaped like there's a very specific helmet design. Let me see if I can find it. It's that looks good. Sorry, I'm just finding it. It's shaped like the face covering up the piece covering up the eyes is shaped like almost like a beak sort of face.
Oh, Plague Doctor?
Not exactly Plague Doctor. It's a bit more rounded than that. Hold on. It's kind of like this. This. Except you cover up the eyes and the mouth part is covered up. It's kind of like that. I don't know how to screen share. For those who don't know, it's the helmet worn by Griffith from the anime series Berserk. There we go. Google that. There we go. Yes, thanks, Alan. You the best. Yeah, exactly like that. Except the eyes and the mouth are covered up. And also the back doesn't have that fushy thing. Instead, there's a bank of electronics and beeping sort of like sensors in the back of the helmet.
That's way beyond my pay grade, so I just gesture to the others.
Yeah. So where is this dead person now?
On the walkway.
Yeah. So did you throw him off the side?
No, I failed to throw him off. That's why he's still here. So you still have the helmet to play with.
All right, wonderful. In that
Strange
case,
how fate plays these tricks.
Okay. So in that case, I guess I would like to inspect the helmet and see if there's anything, that I can find out about it from a cursory glance or two.
Well, I'll happily take it off and hand it to Nova, and then drive one of those golf tees into the base of his skull.
Hard to do that with the helmet on. Yeah, so I think Nova has the helmet and she's turning it around. She looks inside to see if there's any interfacing with the actual head that happens.
Ooh, okay. Give me a study. It's gonna be a fortune roll. Because there's no threat. You're still in a control position. There's no threat to it yet, but I do need a study to see how much you learn from it.
Okay. So that is 2 dice. That is a 6.
Ooh, okay. So what you see is that behind the faceplate, there's like a sophisticated mechanism to keeping this guy's eyes open, with like here with like putting drops in their eyes to make sure they stay open, and you'll see that the screen there's a screen inside that faceplate. It's blank at the moment. Actually, no, it's not blank. The sensors are still beeping and it's back. There is I think you can see that like there's some sort of signal being beamed into this, and what if you look at the signal, you see that what this guy was seeing is, well, they weren't seeing a blizzard. They weren't even seeing like that they were in a security room. They were seeing that they were in a casino playing blackjack. You can see like this point of view is being beamed towards this helmet. It was being beamed to his eyes.
Is the game of blackjack continuing without him playing?
Yes, I'm gonna say that because again, you're in a control position. I think you can. I think you'll see that like what you see is like the dealer, and the dealer looks like a real life dealer, as in you can see in the screen. They're saying like, sir, is everything okay? And I think you'll see that like there's a warning on the system that says like fatigue levels in subject critical, please. And I think critical, and I think there's a command which you'll notice that they're issuing a command into this person's head to say like, oh, go get some sleep. It's your turn to sleep now. We'll let go of your eyes. I don't know why this system hasn't figured out yet that this person's dead. Instead of them being nice. But yeah, so here's what you get when you study. This helmet is a very sophisticated VR device that's getting a signal from somewhere in this mall, and it was pumping this weird paradise casino into this guy's head.
Okay.
You got a 6. You can ask another question.
All right. Does it seem like the actions that this guy would have been taking in the VR casino would have had a tangible effect outside of the VR?
I think what he would be doing in the casino, what you surmise, what we do in the casino would translate into what's happening in IRL, but it would be different. Like getting a drink in the casino would be like trying to shoot someone in IRL. So the people inside wouldn't know what's happening. They're being kept in this state.
Okay, I see. Is there anything on the act? So you said that there was like a bank of monitors in the. Is there anything on those or?
Yeah, I think we'll cut to like the 3 of you inside the monitors, and you can see this. There's a lot of different shots of the mall, and you can see Mellow. Certain familiar places have been refurbished. There's like different places now, and I think what you see is like a bunch of people milling around, and they all have like the helmets.
Okay, so. So I laid this concrete information out for everyone. Now, here's what seems to be going on, right? Is these people are in a simulation. The things that they do in the simulation translate to the real world, but it's not one-to-one. They're having a wonderful time, and I don't actually know if they're aware of what's going on at all in the real world, if they're aware that they're even in this simulation. They're not trying to be hostile to us, but something is making them, as far as I can tell.
Hostile in what way?
Well, I can tell that some of the translations between physical activity and the input into this simulation, violence towards outsiders is rewarded. It's things that they might do. That I don't think they're going to see us as people as long as they have these helmets on. I'm not sure if they would want to kill us without them, but when they are wearing them, I don't think that we can trust them to be reasonable people.
Can you turn it off?
Yeah, where's the feed coming from for you know, where's it getting the simulation from? Is it built into the helmet, or is it being transmitted from somewhere?
I can give you that from 6 if you want, Nova.
Didn't you say it was being translated or transmitted?
Yes, yeah. I was gonna say I was gonna give you where it's being transmitted from. Actually, no. I'm giving you enough already. I'm being too nice.
Damn.
We can find
Yeah.
the
So I know-
signal source and shut it down.
Yeah, we know it's a transmission. I can tell you for sure that something is transmitting this. If we can find that, shut it down, then there's going to be a hell of a lot of confused people milling about the place, and they might be a little bit more inclined to help us out than whoever put them into this simulation.
Can you really tell me why you'd bother? You know, why go all this trouble?
Best
Are
guess?
they meant to confuse? Are they meant, you know, are they a dispersed mainframe computer?
Best guess? Digital slavery. If you
That's
put them
wrong.
in these, if you put them in these things, their eyes are held open. They're forced to stay awake, and you make it so that way what they're doing out here in meat space doesn't translate over to the good time they're having in their heads. Then you can make them do whatever you want. You could rebuild this town that's been taken over by act of God.
Somebody once told me the reason that it all went to shit in a handcart was that nobody could quite calculate what was going on with the weather. It was just too complicated. If all these people were thinking, and look, guys, you know, I don't have the words for this, but if all these people were kind of just thinking about the weather, would there be enough brain power to control it?
I guess. I mean, I work with the machine side, the computer stuff. That's more. That's more Dasha's sort of thing.
What do
Well,
you think, kid?
well, this isn't exactly my area of expertise. I was trained more along the lines of
Look,
biomass, but
whose expertise it isn't. You're the best we got, kid. Give it your best shot.
best guess, if you linked up enough people and you were able to hijack most of their brain process while you put them in a comfortable little sim. Now, I don't know how this would work, and frankly, I couldn't test if it's true unless I put this fucking thing on myself, and that is not something I'm willing to do. But my best guess is you got enough people, hooked them up into these things, and used whatever spare brain power that they weren't using to gamble in this this VR Vegas, then maybe you could get enough processing power to predict at least what was going to happen. Maybe. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that's what's happening, and I'm not saying that it maybe, but we won't know for sure until we find wherever the transmission is coming from, because odds are wherever the transmission is coming from is what's the core of this whole thing.
So get off the fence. What do we do next?
I think it's. I was gonna call for a break, but tell me what you're doing next, and then we'll call for a break.
Well, what we need to do is find the transmission. I don't. I can probably trace that in some way, but even if I can't, uh, right now we're in a surveillance headquarters, and it seems to me as though the transmission is almost certainly coming from inside of the settlement. Now, probably within the mall, and probably we're gonna have to. It's gonna get a little bit hairy if they notice us, if they know that we're here. Now, we saw the person from the raid on the gene hacking lab in surveillance footage. If I had to wager a guess, and again, this is a guess, I'd say that if we find them, we find the truth about this whole fucking deal.
Okay, I can work with that.
Well, let's go find them then. Need some. I'm looking for some payback anyway.
All right, I think we'll call for a break there. Let's take 9 minutes, and then we'll come back and get to the bottom of this place. See you in 9.
All right.
Okay.
All right, is everyone back?
Yep. But
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Just want to do a quick check-in. Folks, how are folks doing? Folks doing okay?
yeah, good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm concerned because I saw Rob's making a.
Oh no, stuff is
Horrific.
terrible, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I mean, no one makes that sort of horrified DX sort of emoticon without, expressing your inner emotions. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, cool. So now I want to know what each person kind of wants to do as you're in this, like, I don't know, you piece together at least a pretty decent theory of what's happening in this place. So I think so we've had Shadow do a thing, we've had Nova do a thing. So I want to turn to Mellow. What do you want to do?
So, I want to start heading towards the. We determined it was like the main complex that had the transmitter, so I head that way.
Cool. Okay. Here's what you'll kind of see as you I think you see the path towards like from the watchtower to the other tower, the one with all the wires and whatnot. You can see that like there are folks milling about. There are some with like guns, but there are sometimes there's some folks that are just like they look like they're raking leaves, even though they're not holding anything. There's some folks who are just standing around. Some folks headed towards like the cafeteria and whatnot. I think it's gonna be a roll to see if the three of you get there without getting seen, and I think this is gonna be a group action. You okay with that, Mellow?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So what's gonna happen is just like someone's gonna be the leader, and it's probably you, Mellow, but everyone's gonna roll the same action rating. And whoever gets a success, that means it'll count success for everyone involved. But if anyone fails, as in if their highest is a 3 or less, then the leader, which will be Mellow, will get 1 stress.
Yay!
Be fine. It's the final session. You can take all the stress you should.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. No more consequences.
I'm just wondering what skill Mellow's going to use.
Well, I've got Ghost.
I'm just curious why Mellow is the logical leader.
Because she knows this is her home. Was her home.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All right. So everyone's gonna roll Ghost then? Is that what it sounds like? Yes.
Yeah.
This is controlled standard. You're still in control. You're still in the controlled position. Yes.
All the 3s are 33-3 for me.
Oh my gosh.
That's a 2 and a 1.
Oh no, Mellow.
I got a 4.
Okay, cool. Take 2 stress because the other 2 failed. 4. Still got a 4. It's good. Okay. There's a hesitation that happens. And I think part of the hesitation as you lead the other 2 through what used to be your home. And let's paint the scene of this place quite a bit. I want to know from each person, like, I want like a detail of this space, this semi-abandoned mall that's clearly kind of like been colonized from its original purpose. Like has been redone. Like, oh, this space used to be like an artist corner, but now it's not. Or either as you kind of go through this place.
I'm gonna let the other guy just.
I don't think Rob said he's gonna let they all go first. Is that what you said?
Retrofitted thick thigh thickness bundles of cabling, because clearly there's a lot of data traveling around here somewhere. So there's lots of retrofitted stuff stapled to ceilings and to walls, incongruous against the kind of ruined shop fronts and stuff.
Yeah, I think along that same line, because it's in this mall, right? I think a lot when this was like an active settlement, a lot of the previous storefronts were, being used for businesses and like gathering places and homes and such. And now almost every one of the physical storefronts has been like cannibalized. So almost all the stores are just empty, like gates down, nothing in them anymore, just ransacked totally.
The one shop in particular, which used to be a Radio Shack, but now just has the shack part of the logo, is being used as a storage space.
Yeah, I think here's how it happens. I think you tried to take them through this former Radio Shack, which, if I remember correctly, in the early 2000s, they did try to rebrand as the Shack. Sorry, Wired article is popping up in my head now. So I think you tried to take them through the Shack, but it's being used to store other stuff. I think a lot of like electronics and whatnot. So it's a bit different. So here's where there's a moment where you hesitate, because I think the person guarding the front of this Radio Shack, because I think he went through like the back and you're coming out, and the new building, the new the weird, what I'm calling the Weirdo Tower, is just ahead of you. But I think there's someone kind of like standing guard in front of the shack, and they kind of turn around and like they've got the helmet. But I'm gonna ask Dasha, Nova, this: how can you tell that it's your friend Timeo?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think that Timeo has it's like, so he's a sentinel. I think he's still wearing a sentinel's uniform, just with the helmet shoved on top of like the armor that he wore when he was still out. And I think it actually still has his, like, because he is a uniformed officer, it still has like a little nameplate on it. Because it seems like the only thing that is different than if I had just seen him on the street, taking bribes from gangs and such, is his like uniform faceplate has been replaced with this VR set.
All right, so I think everyone probably kind of semi-recognizes that this is someone y'all kind of knew, Dasha specifically. So here's kind of like the choice. You can withdraw and try a different approach, Mellow, or you can do it, in which case there's going to be like a minor consequence, like a complication. Either a minor complication occurs, or you have reduced effect, or you suffer lesser harm, or you end up in a risky position. And I'll say right now, you can resist whatever complication I throw at you anyway. So the hesitation is like, oh, it's a friend who's trapped, but you still need to get through him, or like sneak through him. It's up to you, Mel. You're muted if you're saying something.
I was just looking to see if there was any sort of non-lethal weapons in the equipment.
Yeah, you brought a very lethal dude with you.
Let's
see, is there? Yeah.
Could you judge specialized tech?
No,
to be something like that.
Tech is specifically to use against acts of God. There's a.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah.
I might be able to
Ooh.
do something.
Okay.
Because, yeah, so, I mean, there's no clear interface that I think that, is present in these helmets.
Mm-hmm.
but because of my machine plasma nanites, I do have the ability to establish a link to technology that is close by to me without a physical interface, as long as I'm willing to take the stress for it, which
Hell
I
yeah.
am. So I want to fuck up his helmet, not like, I mean, I don't want to like explode it because that would be suspicious, but I think I want it to like cut out, I want to cut off its connection to make it seem like, maybe a hiccup or two in the signal, and then use that time hopefully to get it off him and get him on our side.
Cool. All right, that sounds like a different approach. So you're gonna keep your controlled position. Controlled standard, I'll say. You're using your hack, right? I assume.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Let me mark another stress for that and
Hell yeah.
roll for your party.
3d6.
Reroll selected. 3, 3, and a 1.
Whew. Okay. Here's the hesitate. Oh no, it's not. No, you falter. You falter. It's a 3. Press on by seizing a risky opportunity or withdraw and try a different approach. Okay, here's what happens. You hack into his helmet, and it's a relatively simple device. Well, simple in the sense. Well, okay, no. There are parts of it that are simple. There are parts of it that are stupendously complex. The kind of stuff you want to like give to Mellow to take apart and figure out how the heck they figured out these algorithms to translate this and whatnot. But you get the chance to, like, I think you see it, and here again I'm displaying my ignorance of how hacking works. You'll get a chance to like sever the connection, but
Yeah.
It's gonna be noticed. That's the risky opportunity.
It's
Gonna put you in a risky position to get this guy on your side. Well, you press on?
Yes, I am going to press on.
Hell yeah. So what does this look like when you free your friend from this helmet?
So I think the nanites managed to weasel their way in. And as I take control, I notice that the connection is a lot stronger than I expected it to be, because with the guy on the watchtower, he was already unconscious by the time I had been inspecting the helmet, which means that it was registering differently and it was tracking it. But because Tomeo is still, walking around and doing stuff, oh god, because Tomeo was still like active, the connection was a lot stronger. So that way data could be transmitted a lot better. And because of that, the trace that was executed when I jumped in was a lot faster than I expected it to be. So I didn't have the time to actually go about my whole plan. And instead, I just severed the helmet from the network.
Nice. Yeah. I'll keep going.
So yeah, so now the helmet is just like, it is no longer connected to this signal.
I think when that happens, there's a moment where Tomeo kind of like sways, and he kind of like falls to his knees as kind of like the fatigue suddenly gets to him. Suddenly he's no longer knocking back daiquiris at some faux Vegas. Instead, he's in a freezing, not Radio Shack. I think you hear him just go, what the fuck? And I think you hear an alarm doesn't go off, but I think you hear like suddenly there's increased movement kind of like around you, and you see like a bunch of maybe 2 or 3 folk kind of like emerge from some other corner of the mall and kind of like start positioning themselves around the watchtower, or not the watchtower, the other tower, the weird tower. But yeah, Timeo's free of the helmet, and he's just like, where? What the? and he's trying to get his helmet off. What do you do?
I think I pulled the helmet off.
I think he blinks. It's like, Dasha.
Yeah. I shush him. You know, like, lower your voice.
What the fuck? I'm really cold. What the fuck's where are we? What the fuck's happening?
So, all right, we're in settlement 33. I don't know how you got here. Okay, before you ask, I don't know how you got here. I know how we got here. If you help us out with this, we'll get you out. You can get back to Shelter 1, and you can keep taking money from every other gang that offers it to you. All right, I like you, Tomeo, but right now, without us, you are fucked. Okay.
I think he's shell shocked enough that he's like, okay, all right, okay. It's like, what? Look, I don't know how much I can tell you. All I know is that my commanding officer, Captain Delarose, called me in and said, "Hey, look, we need you to do a thing. We need you to do a thing." And look, I may have solicited far more bribes than I should have, and I thought, okay, the heat is on. I'll do whatever the hell they want. They put me in a room and said, "Hey, we need you to test out this device." You know, apparently some of the folks at safety or were working on this sort of project that, well, apparently it involves VR, and I mean, nobody does VR because it's a waste of time. So I thought, okay, fine, whatever. I put on the helmet, and then I thought, it's a VR simulation. We were in Vegas. There was a lot of fun. There's some drinks. There was blackjack and hookers. It's nice things that we don't really have. Well, I guess we kind of have, but they're not as good as as they were a bit back in the day. And what the fuck's going on?
All right, calm down. Okay, look, I don't know exactly what's going on, all right? But right now, what I need you to tell me, so that way we can figure out what the fuck is going on together, is, do you know anything? Was there anyone in the room with you with, let's say, a lot of cyberware, maybe?
There was Captain De La Rose, and there were a bunch of, there was Captain De La Rose, there was a scientist, and there was this person at the back. They had like a hoodie or a hood on. I couldn't see their face, and as I was putting on the helmet, yeah, I do remember this. As I was putting on the helmet, they Captain turned towards them, gave them a nod.
All right. Okay, now I need you to do me a favor, okay? And you're gonna need to trust me on this one, Tomeo. You're gonna need to trust me on this one, okay?
Okay. All right. Okay.
I need you to take this, and I'm gonna give him one of the comms. I assume, we probably have an extra earpiece.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna give it to him. I say, I need you to get back to. Okay, so if you go out here, stay low to the ground, stay quiet. All right. I know they must have covered some urban movement courses when you were trained to be a sentinel. There's a watchtower. Get in there, full of CCTV. Hopefully, look, we took care of the guy that was in there before. If you get up there, you can get eyes in the sky, help us through this, and we can all get out of here safe and sound.
I think you're going to need to do a roll to convince him to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what happens when you put everything into hack.
Unfortunate.
But look, there are ways to get dice. You can push
There
yourself.
are ways to get dice.
Someone could assist you.
That's the alternative of asking somebody else to just make sure he understands where his best interests lie.
I mean, my only social role is control, so I wouldn't be asking nicely.
I would say the position effect will be risky standard. If it was someone else that wasn't his friend doing this, the effect will be limited. Because,
okay.
But depending on the role, I guess. If someone wants to like control him, it depends on who's doing it. I do kind of want this to be Dasha because this is their friend they're trying to convince.
Yes.
Quite hard. You can assist. The two of you can totally assist for sure. That's one stress. They'll get Dasha.
And if he doesn't look convinced, there are other alternatives.
Yeah.
There are alternatives.
I would appreciate some assistance, seeing as how this is not exactly my strong suit.
So, what's the leverage? Tamia, if you don't do what I say, see the big guy in black.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, so that gets you one die. Take a stress, shadow. Nova, do you want to push yourself or do you want to ripple?
What is a ripple here?
I'm gonna start a clock.
Okay.
It's an alert clock. It's a 6-step clock, and I add 1 tick to it.
I'll take that.
Cool.
All right. Come on. 2
dice. Risky standard.
6.
Hell yeah. All right. So I think you point out the big guy with the swords, and he just like he grabs the communicator and says like, "We better fucking get out of here, okay?" And I don't know who owes each other drinks, but I would like a drink at the end of this.
When we get out, I'll buy you a drink.
Okay, I'll hold you to that. I think he'll put on the earpiece and he'll slink away. And yeah, you're gonna have Overwatch, I guess. I think what it's gonna be is like you can come. I think what I'm gonna do mechanically is like you can come back to, depending on what the situation is, you can call back to him and he may be able to like improve your effect or position. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let me roll this alert clock. There we go. All right. That's 1 tick. But you are in a risky position. They know that like something's up, but they won't know exactly where you are. Exactly, it's you specific people unless that clock fills up. But yeah, there's like a bunch. There's like 2 people patrolling around the weird tower now. What do you do? I think I'm gonna turn to Shadow since saw what the other 2 is up to.
I think we know what Shadow's going to do.
Oh my gosh.
What's the cover between here and there? Is it people or is it terrain?
Say it again. In my internet.
Is the cover is the best cover the terrain between here and there, or is the best cover the people between here and there?
I think the terrain, in the sense that there's still a blizzard, so there's still quite some wind and snow, but obviously because this thing is being controlled, there's not as much here, so it's fairly decent terrain.
So the fine camo wear will give me a slight edge, I think, in crossing this terrain and not looking like a dangerous man.
Yes, absolutely. That will give you great effect for sure.
Actually, I'm just thinking, maybe there's a different approach to be taken here. Just bear with me a second.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's not. No. Okay. So yeah, Ghost.
Hell yeah. So is your plan to just get through? Get to the weird tower?
Well, to get there, and if necessary, take out the two people in between before calling the others across.
All right, cool. Okay, yeah, that's definitely goes. That is a risky great. You're attacking from hiding, so you got 4 dice.
Again, I'll re-roll the lowest one.
Okay.
Once I've rolled, here we go. Oh, a 6 and a pair of 1s. It's a possibility of
Crit.
Hang on, let me just highlight that one and re-roll the 1 at the top. Oh, a 6 and a 5. Still have 8.
Close.
It's still a 6. Like you still got
6.
yeah.
Yeah, but
I know.
I hope.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So yeah, tell me what it looks like when you take out these two.
Oh, I think probably. Are these the guys that are raking without rakes?
Yes, they're raking the front of this weird tower, for sure.
So I think that as one of them goes by, as he leans forward with his hands raking, I reach up, pull him down, and just break his neck. And the second one turns round, sweep the legs out from under him, sharp chop to the neck.
There we go. Clean as a whistle.
Job's a good one.
All right. So yeah, the way's clear now for the 3 of you. You can go inside the weird tower. And I
Seems
think.
like.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Feel free. I don't have anything.
Oh, okay. So I saw Mellow unmute there. Were you gonna say something?
No, I'm just ready.
Okay.
How secured are the doors?
I think in the interest of moving things along and not throwing too many roadblocks, I think you can probably I think the doors are not as secure as it could have been. I think there's a sense of like nobody was bothering to the security is not as beefed up as it could have been, for sure. Bit arrogant, but there you go. I think when you enter the base of this tower, you're into a small reception room, and it's fairly run down. Well, not fairly run down. It looks kind of clean and antiseptic. This place feels humid. It feels like a lot of power is being pumped through this. That everything is so warm. I think actually when you walk in, what you see are in this room, you'll see there's a staircase to your left leading up, but there's rows and rows of data banks. A lot of data is being calculated here, and I think there's a humidity to it, and there's an attempt to cool all these data banks, but I think there's there's air conditioning around. There's still air conditioning even though there's a blizzard outside to try and cool these very hot data banks. And yeah, there's a staircase, and I think there's some computers out there, but again, it's weirdly empty here. This is the place where they're storing the data, and a lot of cabling is leading up through the roof up the staircase. How are you doing?
I think I turn to Mellow and say, okay then, break it.
So I'm gonna dismantle the cooling system.
Ooh.
All right. That is with. Oh, that's gonna be a roll. What are you rolling for this?
So I have wreck. Let me just see if my. Yeah, so I can spend my special armor to push myself when inventing, crafting, or destroying something mechanical.
Yeah. All right. So you'll get an extra die. Not having to spend anything. Is anyone assisting in this?
Not really my field.
I can assist in this. This seems like something that I can assist with.
Cool. How are you doing it?
So as we've established, I actually have cyberware to enhance my rec skill. which I believe we established were like very controlled explosives, very small little, like the cherry bombs or something, you know.
Yeah.
Of
course.
And I think I, you know, like reach into my arm pocket of these little cherry bombs and I pull one out and hand it to Mellow.
Okay. Nice. Here's the risky standard. You got 3 dice now.
Okay. Submit. That's a 6.
It's a 6.
Nice.
All right. So, okay. Tell me how you do this without somehow tripping any alarms or attracting any attention.
Okay. So first thing I do is I identify where the alarm circuit is, and I bypass it. So there's a phantom signal.
Ooh, nice. Phantom signal. All right, cool. All right, and so tell me how you dismantle all this machinery.
I think I'm probably going to put one of those cherry bombs in in the key ventilation bit. You know, like basically put the cherry bomb in where I know is the optimal place to place it to wreck the entire thing.
Nice. All right. So I think you're gonna do it, but I know you rolled a 6, so you're not gonna trip the alarm. But there has to be consequences for ruining what is essentially a weather control machine.
Yeah, I'm blowing the coolant system. It's gonna be a big bang.
Yeah. So I think you probably set it up, and you're not sticking in the room while it explodes. You're probably like, where are the 3 of you headed? Just outside or anywhere else?
Up or out?
Well,
we still need to find we still need to find the guy we came for. So
good point. Let's say up then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the 3 of you head up. Just as you explode the coolant. And I think.
Well, I think it's like it's on a timer. The bomb would probably be on a timer of some sort. So.
Cool. All right, I'll hold on to that for any possible complications. Though you're all rolling like lions, and if you roll, even if you roll fail, it's still a controlled position, so it's still good. It's still good. So you head up, and you see that like you're in like a big sort of cube sort of room, and you see like all this machinery protruding from the floor, from where the data banks are. All this like spires of wires. Ooh, spires of wires. Cabling. Lots of the cabling. Lots of like just rods pointed upwards, where you can see like where you saw from above. You'll see like there are 3 There's like 3 scientists or 3 people wearing the helmets, typing furiously at monitors and whatnot. And I think, okay, there's another person waiting there for the 3 of you. I think they've still I should have clarified exactly what they're wearing. Exactly, they're wearing this long black cloak, and they're wearing like they have a hood that's actually coming from like a hoodie they're wearing underneath their long black coat, and again shadows in their face, and I think they cock their head, look at you, and then they kind of like poke at their watch and saying like they poke at an imaginary watch on the wrist and say like, and with record time as well. You crew are quite good at what you do. Shouldn't have expected anything less.
While monologuing, I will attack him.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. All right. This is a okay. Hold on. You've got. Let me see your equipment. You pulled out your fine blades, for sure. I'll actually say that will raise you from a risky limited to a risky standard. This guy's prepared now. Okay, he's quite prepared. Risky standard. This is combat, for sure. Is anyone? Do you want to push yourself or accept a ripple?
I think I will push myself.
All right. 2 stress. Get you an extra die. Does anyone want to help?
I think I will. I think Mellow would draw a pistol and like shoot at him, but probably mostly distract him rather than do any damage.
Cool. All right. 4 dice. Make a stress, Mellow. See. So this is what happens when we all keep it together. Everyone can just help each other out.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'll roll the 3 to begin with. That peaks at a 4, and I'll re-roll the 1. Oops, a daisy. Oh, 6. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that
it just hesitated on 1 and then just tipped over to 6.
That was a roller coaster of.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm gonna put a clock on the table. It's another 6-step clock, and you don't know this guy's name, so I'm just gonna label the clock Cyber Boss. Sure, why not? And that success will add 3 ticks to this clock, so you're actually halfway there to defeating him. So here's kind of what happened.
Can I just mechanically? I then have, when you push yourself, I could have potency equal to a sunjet.
Yes.
I just, if I've already got 3 ticks on that clock, how many more would sacrificing a couple of stress?
Oh, my bad. Actually, because it was a risky standard, it was actually 2 ticks. But if you push yourself to add potency, that'll bump it up to 3. Actually, sorry. My bad. I miscalculated.
I'll go for that. Okay,
cool. So Shadow, you draw your blades, just go after this motherfucker. Your blades boiling with the fury of a sun jet, which is something quite harsh. Oh, hold on, I need to reroll this card. Nope. Oh, okay, there we go. Mellow, you're opening fire to. I think that's enough to like jostle him. But here's kind of what happens. You bring your sun jet blades down, and I think they raise their arm, and it clashes against, and there's like a big ting as like you can see like their hand is like barely resisting your blade, and you hear them kind of like growl and say like, "You were never much for words, weren't you, Shadow?" And try and push you back. I'm gonna.
I don't respond at all.
Oh, well, yeah, they're right. they're absolutely right. Turn to you, Nova. What do you do?
What do I do against the cyber boss? That is a good question. Well, I think that what I do is, well, So is like, are the other people in this room responding at all, or are they just, tip tapping away still?
They're tip tapping away. I don't think. I'm gonna say right now the bomb probably hasn't gone off. It is gonna go off because Mellow got a 6, but like they're typing furiously, trying to corral all this data that they're they're getting.
Okay, cool. Well, in that case, what I am going to do is I am going What do I want to do?
Can you hack him at a distance using your nanites?
You mean you
Could
managed? You tried to make them stab themselves.
That's fair. I did try to do that earlier, and it
Yes.
almost worked.
Yeah, it almost worked.
Yeah, you know, this is a the scene in the movie where they try it again. You know, after they've developed.
Where's your drone right now?
My drone is not technically in the scene yet, but I could at any point bring him in, or it in, I guess. Do you have an idea with the drone?
I just wonder if your drone was armed with a, some kind of weapon.
I'm afraid that my drone is a surveillance drone.
But it has a custom drone with one load.
No, that is the drone.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
No, the drone,
I see. I beg your
is
pardon. I beg your pardon.
one
Right.
load.
Okay, it's not what it carries.
Bring in. No. Yeah, I'm gonna hack back in. I'm gonna stare at the cyber boss. Gonna mark another stress to use my nanites. You're very helpful. Glad I took that. And I'm going to try and hack in and do what I was too weak to do the first time.
Yeah. Sadly, this is a risky limited because we're gonna encounter some firewalls. They prepared for this as well. Like they learned this.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I
just want to roll, or what do you want to do? Accept a ripple? Push yourself?
Could I do a little? Yeah. What's a ripple here?
The ripple here is that they are gonna. I think the firewalls are gonna like fight back against you, and I think they're gonna disable their nanites for like a round. So you can do this once, but you won't be able to do it again.
All right, I'll take that. So I'll take that. Can I push myself for greater effect?
No, it's either push yourself or accept the ripple. You can take back the ripple and push yourself for greater effect if you want.
Can I accept the ripple for greater effect?
Yes, I'll let you do that. Standard then.
All right, so then that is still 3 dice, and hopefully be a success.
Be fine. Oh, I was gonna ask Shadow if they want to assist, but you're down to like your last 2 stress boxes.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm only assisting myself at the minute.
All right, a 6.
Oh, come on! I actually have to like, oh, come on. All right. So,
hoorah!
Wow. Okay. This cyber boss did not as god damn it.
Clearly, he's not the only one who had an upgrade.
Yeah. So what happens?
It's the climactic finale of our little,
Yeah, and we only have 6 minutes, so
yeah.
Perfect timing. Yeah, so what happens?
Nova, you only have 6 minutes to save the world.
So Nova like looked into his eyes, his human eyes in his robot body, and like the nanite stream, trickles off, and she is just locking. I mean, he's staring right at her. They're in a fight. It's not like she can hide or anything. Like she was, trying to ambush him the last time, and she just stares him down as she is in this pitched battle. I think that like probably he isn't moving because all of the processing power to his cyberware right now is going into fighting off this incursion. And all of a sudden, so he is stock still because he physically cannot like move his limbs at the moment, and Nova is stock still because she is trying to control a hacking interface that is like much less traditional. And I think he's like all of a sudden his arm just starts like jerking upwards slowly, and Nova finally gets off what she wanted to do in the very first session, all those weeks ago, and he just plunges a ceramic knife into his chest.
I think when you do that, they let out a gasp, but it's not really kind of a surprise. It's more like relief, and they kind of like fall to their knees, and they look at you, Shadow, and you can tell their eyes are like just kind of like almost, you can't see their eyes. There's still the shadowy part, but they're like almost beckoning you to come closer.
Yeah, I'll take the bait.
I think they cough and blood kind of comes out. You say like, don't worry. There's no more tricks. I'm glad that if it had to be anyone, it was someone like you. And
I slide the sunjet into his head. Because this one doesn't deserve the golf tee.
Wow. Cruel. Yeah, since we're close to we're at time, I think this is the climax of the story. I think we can montage out what happens. You'll find Theo. He is obviously there in a room. Timeo will give you cover so that you can get the people you need to get out of here. You've broken the machine. I think I'm gonna say because you got living quarters, the airship is enough to take as many people, probably all the people here, which aren't as many as you probably expected, like 7 or 8. No, 10. Let's say 10 people. You can stuff them into your airship. You can get out of here, because you destroy the weather control machine. What happens is the ice razor goes berserk. And sorry, Mellow, it's gonna continue the work it was doing.
But it's going to be a sick shot in the movie when the airship flies out of the blizzard and it just goes insane.
I'm sorry about that, Mellow.
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
But if it's any consolation, Lincoln will want to come back to fix the weather machine so you can have your home back.
Yeah. Although, I don't know how much leverage he'll have once well, actually, no. Let's leave that to epilogues. So you'll get out. You've saved all the people. You've gotten Theo. You've discovered this, frankly, horrific plot. So what's next for each character? What's the last we see of them as they continue their adventures in Shelter 1?
I think we will see Shadow commooning with his dead.
Not expecting you to stab that guy in the face. They had 5 more monologues prepared. No.
I have to say that's why he didn't deserve the golf tee. He was the bad guy who monologued once too often.
It's a shame.
So I'm basing this off of one of the abilities that I haven't unlocked yet, but I probably would have got enough XP eventually to get it. So having seen that machine, Mellow is drawing up schematics for her own version alongside her father as preparation for when they do go back and reclaim their home.
Hopefully one that's not powered by the minds of people.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
There's some
Yeah.
bugs to work out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we see down at the docks of Shelter 1, Nova is standing there in like a hugely different outfit than you have, than like the dark job clothes that she has been wearing. And someone steps off a porter's ship at the docks, and they see Nova like standing on the shore, and they spit on the ground when they see her. And Nova goes up to Jem, a porter from Silk Falls, where Nova defected from. And she goes, I saw some things in Shelter 1 that I can't stay here. Take me back to Silk Falls, and I promise that every goddamn thing I sold to those corps, I will steal back.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds like a perfectly bitter way to end this series of Hack the Planet. Thanks very much to my wonderful players who never cease to surprise and be inventive, be ridiculous, and be just great. Thanks very much, folks. I always like to get that on the broadcast. Anyone wants to check out the Gauntlet, there'll be a link down below. If anyone wants to check out Hack the Planet, there'll be a link down below. Thanks very much. Next time, more Fortune and Dark stuff from this channel. But for now, say goodbye. And lovely players, say goodbye and end the broadcast.